I'm here with Akil. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. Arsenal dropping points in what was a very important game. Disappointing, the fact that they were 2-0 up and seemingly allowed Villa back into it. Your thoughts on the game?
Man, you know what? It was so frustrating, man, because, I think we've seen this so many times over the season whereby we're doing all right, we're going forward and we're creating opportunities and then we get ahead. But there's something in this team that seems to kind of accept the fact that they're winning and almost not go that extra mile to lock off the game. I thought at Tottenham that was something that we learnt to do, but today it just didn't seem like the case. And I even said at half time, I was like, we're winning 1-0, but the key thing is not to get more goals, it's just to maintain what we have. And it just seemed like as soon as we got the 2, it was like we've won the game, and then we saw what happened. So,
although we say that, but I've had a little look, and you have to go back to October 2019 to find where Arsenal have gone 2-0 up in a game at home and not won. So it's especially disappointing, right? Yeah,
it is disappointing, and the thing is, we don't expect that to happen. Like last season, as we saw in the stats, like 18 games, 18 wins from that. Whereas this season, it's almost like we're either going to win or we're going to draw. It's one or the other. Now it's like 7 wins and 5 draws from when we've taken the lead at halftime, which kind of now means that there's as much chance as us to draw as us to win when we're leading. So I think it's not a case of us bottling it, as some people like to say. We're not bottlers, and that's something that I think we all think. But I also can see now that without us actually trying to play like a team that's going to win the title, by having that urgency in the final third when we need a goal, we have midfielders that show more urgency than our strikers.
It's interesting that you mentored that about bottling, and so you segued into something that I was going to ask you. So you kind of preempted my question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Some people are saying that they're questioning the mental makeup of some of the players. You appear to not think that way. Tell us why you don't think that they're bottlers.
I don't think the team are bottlers, because I think I don't think there's been any time in the season where we'd be doing really well and we just given up and we just lost hope. It's almost been like we wanted more from the team. So it's not like we're capitulating, against Sporting Lisbon, they capitulated. When we played against them, like we absolutely battered Sporting Lisbon. We've not done anything like that whereby we've done poorly and been battered. The worst defeat we've had this season is 2-0 to Bournemouth. Like I don't think there's been a worse result than that this season. So for us, like we're not.
In that game, we had a player sent off. Remember, Saliba got sent off in that game.
That was that time where we had the string of players like getting sent off regularly. So it's not like we're always losing games or we're always drawing games. It's the case whereby we just don't know how to finish off the game, And then that's now meant that we've had too many draws. This season, there's just too many draws. If you look at compared to last season, I think we got already more draws this season than we did the whole of last season, and we're only like maybe 55% through the season. So we just need to start thinking when we're winning the game or we're drawing the game, let's win the game or shut it off. Don't give them any opportunity to even think they can come back in, because they shouldn't think that against Arsenal.
Do you think injuries and that are playing a part? Because obviously there's quite a few injuries out. When Neri's out, Saka's out, Tomiyasu, Ben White. Do you think that that's a contributory factor, or do you think they should have just done better, full stop?
No, I'm not going to be like the Tottenham fans when they say like the injuries are trying to take away. Tottenham will lose anyway. They already know that. But, for us, I think it's the case where we're not consistently urgent enough when it matters. It's almost like we're consistent when we're losing, or we're consistent when we're drawing. We're not consistent when we're in the lead, and we're trying to lock off the game. I think that's been what's happening, because even when Saka's not injured, even when Saliba's not injured, even when we've got a fully fit team, it's almost like the players like to feel like they are somewhat going to win the game, but they don't know, and they get a bit tentative. Like Havertz sometimes when he's up front, just take that touch and run at him. And he's a bit like, I'm going to run it, but I'm not going to run at him, but I'm going to kind of try to control it, and then you just lose the ball. If we look at how many times Havertz lost the ball today, it's unfortunate, and we have no other strikers to put him in up front to take the heat off him. So I don't think it's the case of injuries. I think it's the case that when we have an opportunity, we just need to take it and then lock off the game.
A word for the manager. I mean, obviously today's not gone well, so he's going to cop stick whether we like it or not. But how do you feel personally the manager's managed this season?
This season, I think he struggled. I think he's definitely struggled because the transfer window, I think we all agreed that the transfer window was not good enough. We bought players in positions that only added backup to what we had. I don't think there'd be any player that we bought that we can all sit here and say unanimously they're a first team player. Calafiori, debatable. Lewis Skelly is absolutely mashing it up now. You know, when you look at Marino, okay, him versus Partey, who's really going to take the position when we've got a fully fit back line? Can't say that. You know, those were our two marquee signings in the summer. Let's not talk about Sterling. So, you know, he didn't manage the transfer window well, but when it now comes down to it, it's almost like they're quality players, but they're not raising the standard of our squad, you know. And he's saying now things that we've all been saying, but we've been saying that since Benjamin Sesko was linked to us. You know, we've been saying that from when Isak was linked to us, you know, when we're looking for the number plate. So we've been saying it for a long time, you know, we've been saying it for a long time. It's not new information. So I think he struggled because he's not really seen the reality, which is if we don't have the best offence and the best defence, we are not going to win the league.
2 weeks left for the transfer window. Is there anyone out there that you've seen or, you know, think that could come in and do a job?
Yeah, I think there's players that would fit a typical profile of like doing a really good job in any team. So, you know, you look at the usual suspects like Gyökeres and Isak, you know, but then there's the suspects that are not talked about, even like Jonathan David. He's going to have his contract expired end of the season, but, you know, I guess Arteta's very systematic in how he plays. He doesn't just want a player because he's quality. He wants a player that fits within his system, and he can basically be a centre, he can be a striker, he can be a right back, can be a left back. He might want to be a goalkeeper. You know, you never really know when it comes down to the squad. So I think at the moment, I don't think there's somebody out there that I can think of who I think fits his system, because that's for the manager and the scouting team to decide. But I genuinely think that we need someone who's quality up there. Even if it means that we get someone on loan, and it might be controversial, but I think even players that have something to prove that are still somewhat in their peak could come, you know, that fall out of favour with the other teams. Yeah. So, yeah, man, I don't think we're going to get them in a January transfer window. I think when it comes down to the summer, that's when we're going to do our real business, and we'll probably get someone makeshifting to come in. You know,
one final question for you. Obviously, things not going great in the league, but we're still in there with a shout. We're still in the Carabao Cup, although again, you know, I mean, we've got some ground to make up there. Out the FA Cup, still in the Champions League. What would you define as success for Arsenal this season?
Pushing it all the way. And I don't want the team to give up at any point in the season, you know. We're second in the league. We're doing really well in the Champions League. And to be honest with you, if it was the case where we thought the league was just about just getting back in the Champions League and we go for the Champions League, I'll be really happy with that, you know, because ultimately I think Liverpool have just been enough. They've been like us 2 seasons ago when we wiped the floor of every team. But the difference is with Liverpool is that they've actually got players who can back up their talk. Yeah. Players that have won trophies, like Alex McAllister, he's won a World Cup. You got players like, you know, Salah, he's won Champions League, he's won the Premier League. We can't say that about our squad. We can't say that about our squad of players in their peak. So, yeah, I think the Champions League, if we were pushing it all the way and the Premier League push it all the way, I'd be happy. But for me, I can actually see that if we just battle down the hatches and say, we're going to take this to the final line in every game and every match, we're going to get more points than
So in other words, what you're saying, you're one of those fans who think we don't have to win a trophy, but we do have to be competitive in all the competitions that we're left in.
More than competitive, I think we need to show a winning spirit in the team. You know, even today, you saw it, like when they got to the last 10 minutes, the players are looking like they don't want to move. You know, there's no movement, there's no energy, there's no urgency. We hit the post, okay. Trossard is the only one who's kind of showing something, you know, but the players behind are being creative. But, you know, it's almost like if we don't score, that's it. If we don't get it, that's it. It's not like, let's do it no matter what. Let's just get to the final line. So I want to see that in every game, and I want to see us take it to the end of the line. I don't want to see the team give up in any tournament, in any game, because then we're just not going to win any trophies anyway.